Is it behind door number 1? Or door number 2? Or door number 3?
Hey guys, ISawBear here, and today we'll be talking about the update 0.030 for the game Foxhole. This update brings the 6th region to the game, the Weathered Expanse. The Weathered Expanse is a vast, wintry wasteland. There's a big contrast in the map between large, open snowy fields and the remains of devastated fortresses. You might even stumble across the trenches of the last war. This update also brings a lot of changes to World Conquest. I won't be able to show off all these changes since at the time of this recording World Conquest is not on, but I'll go over them anyways. So first off, vehicles can now travel between regions in World Conquest mode. All the inventory on your person and in the vehicles will travel with you as well. Manufacturing plants can now be destroyed and rebuilt. This will give players even more reasons to try and sabotage the enemy. To rebuild a manufacturing plant, you will need 400 scrap. That's right, you won't be using basic or refined materials to rebuild a manufacturing plant, you'll actually be using scrap. In addition, manufacturing plants, medical labs, weapons factories, workshops, and supply stations in non-starter towns will now start off destroyed in contested regions in the World Conquest mode. Players can now enter enemy overrun regions from the World Conquest screen if they have a set spawn point there. World Conquest servers will no longer roll over into a new war after the current one ends. The devs have said on their streams that they want some time between wars, so that a victory actually feels like a victory. And lastly, this one is a temporary measure that the devs have implemented for the World Conquest. Nevertheless, these early World Conquest restrictions will only be enforced for the first 2 hours of a World Conquest war. There will be no traveling between regions for the first 2 hours of World Conquest. Joining a faction that has more than 15 players than the other side will not be allowed, so you can't overwhelm the enemy just because you have higher numbers or a higher number of players who want to play on one side. And you won't be able to build structures at a far distance from friendly town halls. This distance restriction will increase over time and eventually encompass the entire map, so that you can build structures as normal everywhere. Just to restate, these restrictions are temporary for the next few wars. The devs have stated that they want the early game not to be a rush fest. They don't want people setting up foxholes and pillboxes along the road at the very start of a war to cut off the enemy supply lines. They felt that the risk for doing such actions was more than worth the reward that it could reap, and that the enemy teams really don't have a way to counter that unless they just spam foxholes around enemy towns as well. So hopefully these changes should slow the starting phase of World Conquest down just a little bit and give all teams a fair chance to properly prepare. There were a lot of game balances. Most of these come to defensive structures. It's a lot of numbers, but let's just go over them real quick. Bunker health has been increased by 25%. Reinforced wall health has been increased by 20%. Heavy gate health has been increased by 25%. Fortress wall refined material cost has been increased from 30 to 50, and fortress wall health has been increased by 100%. The town hall cost has increased from 250 basic materials to 300 basic materials. And the chance of yielding tech parts from gathering scrap or components has been decreased by 20% overall. A couple of UI changes include: during World Conquest, there will be a new chat channel called World Team. This allows players on the same team to communicate between regions during World Conquest mode to allow for better coordination. Some new callouts were added. A player mode callout was added, labeled Help Me Build. This is a callout meant to get everyone's attention and focus their efforts on building a structure with you. The other one is a map callout labeled Materials Required. Place this on the map to let your team know where materials are required at that time. And lastly, the vote kick system was changed. Vote to kick reasons are now selected from a list of choices. Though I will miss some of the funny reasonings people used to put in the chat, this system is far more efficient and far more clear as to why someone wants someone else kicked. Also new is that players will now enter a restricted state when vote kicked a certain number of times for a particular violation. If you are team killing excessively and people report you for it, your weapons will be locked so that you won't be able to team kill or even kill enemies for a certain amount of time. If you're voted to be kicked multiple times for offensive languages, your chat options will be locked, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. There were some major bug fixes as well. One that I will mention is that there was a speed building glitch where players were able to build structures ridiculously fast. This has been fixed. I'll leave the other bug fixes for the patch notes down below. Thanks for tuning in to this update. If you like these update videos, like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest Foxhole updates. Oh, and if you're wondering about my new YouTube icon, go to the previous video I uploaded on my channel. I did a quick speed paint so you can see exactly the process I went through to create it. And as always, good luck, keep your heads down, and stay in your foxholes. Bear out.